Hi, my name is Brooke with Bees Budgets, and welcome to my channel, where I invite you into my budgeting journey, where I do cash budgeting most of the time, sinking funds, and savings challenges. If all of this sounds interesting to you, then let's get into the video. Okay guys, I am gonna do things just a little bit different, and there was a couple questions, and by a couple I mean one, on how I do my budget. So I'm just gonna kind of go over how I do my budget really quick, and this might be just a short video, boring video, or maybe a video you want to watch. Either way, I will separate this one from my regular just cash stuffing, and then so the next video will be my normal cash stuffing. So if you don't want to watch how I do my budget, that's fine. So I do things a little bit different, and so how I have everything set up, let me zoom you guys in a little bit, wrong way, so you can see what I'm working with here. Sorry, I have all my stuff up for my next video, because right after this video, I'm gonna jump into my regular budgeting, and I got a little marker here. But anyway, forget all that. So how I do my budget is I always have a buffer of $2,000. So what that means is in my checking account, I always want to have a balance of $2,000. So sometimes with the cash budgeting, let's be honest, I'm not the greatest with having cash on me at all times. So if a situation arises to where I don't have cash on me and I want to use my debit card, I would then track it in this box right here. And then I would say if it's an expense or if it needs to come out of a sinking envelope. And then whenever I do my budget, I look at this paper and I have it all wrote down, and I see where I need to go from there. Sorry, if this is going in and out of focus, I'm sorry guys. So anyway, gas, I do not cash budget that into my wallet for expenses, and groceries, I have not been either. Because groceries has gone up, I had a hard time honing that in, and I was already using my debit card, and I felt like it was allowing me to go a little bit more crazy. So this way, I just track it here, and then whenever I do my budget for next week, then I just refill that money to keep this buffer at $2,000 every single time. So this week I spent $50 in gas, and that's an expense. I just don't count for it whenever I do my expenses for my wallet expenses. And then then I spent $250 on food. So $250 plus $100 plus $38. So I spent $388 on food, and then $50 on gas. So my buffer is supposed to sit at $2,000. I was actually at $1,562, which that gave me a difference of $438. So when I start my next budget, I know my starting amount right here is $1,950. The next thing that I complete before I take any more money is my $2,000 buffer. So that $438 comes out of that money right away. And then the next most important is expenses. So that would be my wallet expenses. So that is, I don't do groceries anymore just right now because everything's a little crazy, but it's eat out, house, miscellaneous, Liam, and myself. And so those get stuffed next. And what I need to stuff those is $130. So I subtract that, and then I put a line here for wallet. I'm not really sure because wallet and expenses for me is the same thing. So I always just draw a check mark. I'm sorry, a dash. So next time I print these out, I'll just erase that line because it's unnecessary. And then my bills for this week, I write those all out here. And those are my next important. So these I list them out by the date and the amount. And so my total bills were $614. And so then after that is then when I go into my sinking funds. So I see what I have left, and then I divvy out my sinking funds as I see fit. And so then I'll come over here, and I have my sinking funds paper here, and I will fill it out to what I want. And my total was $630, and I always do this with erasable pens. So then if I know I'm a little too high on my budget, then I just go in and I kind of just do what I want. But I have it, you know, I do pretty close to the same amount every time. I adjust if something's gonna come up. Like right now I'm beefing up vacation because we'll be going on vacation in January. It's all paid for, but I wanna have a little extra spending money. So we're beefing that up right now. So that's a little bit out of the ordinary. But outside of that, I kind of know I'm gonna be around in this range. And so 630 was my sinking funds. And so that will go right here. And then my next is my challenges. So my least less important thing is challenges. However, they're amazing to have, but we know we have to pay for our bills and our food and water and stuff before we can touch a challenge or savings challenge. Otherwise, what's the point? And so for challenges, I come over here and I fill my challenges out, and then I know that was 102. So for my budget breakdown, this is how I do it. And so then I subtract. Now I know the goal is to always have zero, but sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Right now I just have an extra of $36. And so that'll just kind of sit in my buffer, and it kind of will just give me an extra little cushion for next week per se. So anyway, that's how I do my budget here. Then I do have another paper. I labeled both of these budget breakdown. I don't know why, but that's how it is. And then again, it's kind of redundant, but this is what I show on my videos, where it's kind of more of like a zoomed in on my budget and how I'm separating everything type thing. So I list my bills out here, my challenges, and then these are all my tallies. These are the totals, and then these are my expenses. But somebody did ask me about like dog food and stuff like that. That is all in my bills. And so I have, let me see here. Up in my front, sorry, my planner's a little crazy right now. I have a paper right here, and this has all of my bills for the whole month. So someone had asked about dog food. We get our dog food sent to us every month. So that's actually tied into my bills. So these are all of my bills. So when I sit down for my budget for the week, I'll sit down with this paper empty and I'll see what are my bills. And so I'll go in here, and and like this time I'm like, okay, my budget's gonna be from the 10th until the 15th. And so everything that falls into that is then gonna go into here as my bills, and then so on and so forth. So next week when I do my budget, it'll be all the last of these, you know, and that's how I do it. Again, I know everybody does their budget different, and I know not everyone has that buffer account, but it's not practical for me to use cash for everything. I know that that's the goal, and that's most people's goal, but for me, it's just not always feasible, especially with gas. It just, sometimes life is just a lot easier if I can swipe my debit card, document it, and then pay myself back later. So that's where I found this works better for me, is having this buffer. And then when I'm done with all of these, then I have these I have a bunch of these that go into this planner, and I will then just go through here and I will write my tallies out for what I'm gonna need to remove from the bank and what denomination. And then this is just for my reference, mainly for stuffing the envelopes. And then I fill one of these out for the bank. It's just smaller. It doesn't have all the tallies. The bank lady, I asked her one time if she prefers the tallies or an actual number, and she said she likes the numbers better. So I just write out the numbers corresponding with mine, and then they know exactly what to give me, whatever. Then when I get home, which I'm home from the bank, I would then take an alcohol prep pad. I had gotten a bunch of these for my nails, and I just, see, and then just wipe this bad boy off. And it's all clean and ready for the next budget. And that just goes, oh no, I got pink all over me. Oh, usually, like I said, I usually don't do this on camera, so I'm a lot less messy, but I'm trying not to keep you guys here forever. So that is how I do my budget. Another thing is I get a lot of questions on my sheets. I make all of these on Microsoft Word. I highly suggest you guys find your program that works with your computer and go in and make your own budget, play around with it. At first it took me a really long time to remember because it hasn't been since high school since I've messed with Word. But I kind of found it fun to play around with this, and then if anything in my budget changes, I can then just go into my file, I can switch it out however I want, and I control everything to do with it. If I don't like it, I can, change it and just do what works for you. That's what I found the best. And I'm not gonna sell any of my sheets just because it took me a really long time to make these, and I know that a lot of people had problems with like their Etsy's, other people stealing their designs and selling them, and I don't want to mess with it. I have a full-time job. I'm already extremely taxed and busy as it is. I have a young child. I just don't want to mess with any problems with that whole situation and scenario. So anyway, again, like I said, I really suggest you get in there and make them yourself. It's just so much more fun, and it makes it so much better to fill it out. But hopefully that helps you guys a little bit with how I do my budget. Like I said, I only got one question on how I do mine, but I figured I'd go ahead and make this video so if later on I can refer back to it if I want to change it up, if it's not working for me, or if somebody else has a question about it. So the next video will be my normal stuffing video. So if you're interested, go ahead and head on over and you can watch that video as well. But that's all I have for you for this quick little budget breakdown and the way I do my things. So I just want to thank you for watching, and remember, budgets look different for everybody and every household. So work what you got. If you're enjoying this video, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!